Welcome to the SDA Housing Podcast, brought to you by NDIS Property Australia. Before starting this episode, we need to provide a general disclaimer. Information contained in this podcast is general in nature only. It does not take into account the objectives, financial situation, or needs of any particular person. You need to consider your financial situation and needs before making any decisions based on the information in this podcast. And you should consider seeking independent and professional advice for your personal circumstances. All right, let's begin.
Hello everybody, my name is Minh and I'm your host for today from NDIS Property Australia here in Brisbane. And you're listening to the SDA Housing Podcast, a show that explains, highlights, guides and brings awareness about all things SDA in this ever-changing NDIS world. Today's exciting topic is Coogee Marina Residence in Perth, WA. And joining me from Perth is Michael Kwan, the project manager for the developer Saraceni. Michael, welcome today.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. I hope you're well, wherever you may be, right through Australia, from east to west.
Thank you very much. Mate, tell me about the company that you represent, Saraceni, and the development project, please.
Saraceni Developments. So Luke Saraceni has been around developing in WA for about 40 years. The last biggest one that he did was Rain Square in Perth CBD. That was eventually taken over by Commonwealth Bank for $600 million. But they're in the courts now trying to sort that out. But that's the type of development that he is able to do. So he does petrol stations, luxury apartments in the Perth city, commercial supermarkets. He owns a lot of Woolies and Coles. So he's very active and he's a long-time experienced developer.
So residential, commercial, industrial, they're all facets of...
Not industrial, but commercial and residential.
Wonderful. So, Saraceni is now coming into the NDIS world. What's the go there? Why the NDIS sector now all of a sudden?
So the land that we happen to have, I think suits NDIS, and that's how he approached me. We had a chat. So that's his first NDIS project, and he's excited to be involved in this space, and hopefully he's the first of a few.
That's great. It's good to see blue chip developers coming into the SDA market because we need more sophisticated, bigger brands coming in to be able to deliver product, isn't it? It's very good.
And he's always delivered very high quality, luxurious developments in the past. He has never done anything cheap or anything that's not significant. So he is definitely blue chip.
Good. So tell us more about the site, the location, the area, all about this project called Coogee Marina Residence, please.
Okay, so Coogee Marina Residence is located on 12 Brunswick Street in North Coogee. So North Coogee is a suburb just a little bit south of Fremantle. It's right next to the beach. This particular block is just one street behind the promenade, and on the promenade there's a very big marina. So there's about 200 boats parked there. There are cafes, restaurants, boardwalks. So it's very upmarket, and it's very, very prominent in the location. It's right behind a 150-unit retirement village, a luxurious retirement village, 8-10 stories, I think even higher. And hopefully some of those residents will be our customers in the future.
Wow, sounds exciting. When you say one street back from the marina or the boardwalk, the promenade, how many meters from the site to the water or the marina are we talking? How many meters?
Physical location, probably 50 meters. But if you walk around that building, probably around 100, 150 minutes, no more than that. It's a very short walk,
wow.
Literally 2 minutes walk.
Wow, this is awesome. I think it's very rare to see a project like this in SDA so close to the water, and also in an area where there's lots of, amenities.
Yes.
And a lifestyle to suit.
Yes.
Yeah.
There is a Woolies about 150 meters away. maybe less. And there's a doctor surgery, chemist. There's a very new daycare, 2-level daycare there as well. As far as location and quality, I would say this have to be the highest that I've seen and the most luxurious location that I've seen for an SDA.
Wow. Tell us more about the project in terms of car parks, bedroom sizes, OOA offices, levels. Tell us more about the specs of the whole building.
So 12 Brunswick Street is a corner block. So all apartments will have facets or will have exposure to the fronts because it's a corner block. It has 3 frontages and the parking is on the ground floor, goes up a lift, and all the apartments are on level 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the penthouse is on level 4.
So how many 1s and 2s and 3 bedders are there?
There's 3 1 bed, 1 bath, and there's 1 penthouse, 3 bed, 2 bath, and the rest is a mix, 2 bed, 1 bath, and 2 bed, 2 bath.
Okay. You weren't able to make those all 2 bed, 2 bath?
No, we weren't able to.
Just not enough size.
No,
there.
yeah.
How big's the block of land that this has been built?
Just 500 odd square meters. It's not that big.
Wow.
Yeah, but it has 0 setbacks all around.
That's great. Yeah. On the floor plan layout, I see that there is an OOA caretaker office and a activity lobby on every level. Can you please explain that?
Yeah, so every level there is an OOA and there is a middle lobby where it's classified as an activity area. So where
there's four per level as well.
Yeah. So each level there's one. So where the residents or participants and maybe families or relatives can come and visit, and they can do activities in that lobby area if they don't want to do those activities in the units.
I look at the floor plan layout here, and it's quite large compared to other SDA apartments around Australia. So some of these are 92 to 96 square metres internal with a 13 to 17 square metre balcony, which is quite normal, plus a storage spot for the apartments as well. So we're looking at about 110-ish, give or take, square metres per...
Including the store, 110 plus. So there's a 4 square metre store.
I don't think I've ever come across, say, 100 plus square metre apartments. It's very rare. They're normally 75 to 90 square metres as an average size in Sydney and Melbourne and Brisbane. But I think what you've done here, I call it an extra large, because remember it's a one-tenant apartment, right? So for 110 square metres, that's quite large for an apartment for one tenant. Yeah, it is. And
as far as location, appearance, and appointments, it will be very luxurious as far as SDA and SDA is concerned. So I've never seen ones that are of this quality and location. So as an opportunity, an investment opportunity, I would say maybe once in 10, 15 years that you would come across something like this. And I'm pretty sure the investors would appreciate that, and also the participants would appreciate that.
When you say quality, what do you mean? Because it's a very loosely used word in the property development game. So from a outsider's point of view, what makes you say it's quality?
Okay, so starting from the balcony, it will have stainless steel handrails, glass handrail. It'll have very luxury. Well, because it's near the beach, so it has to be rated to be rust proof, so it doesn't rust in 3-4 years. So that's not only what we're doing, but it's also a requirement from the council to have those materials installed to the highest quality. So going inside, there'll be a lift. There'll be all the fittings. There'll be blinds installed in every apartment with automatic motors. So the front door and a lot of I think the bedroom and the front door are on motors, on electric motors. So it's whatever the participant would envisage to require, and we try to build it as future-proof as possible.
Yes. And is there requirements from council to have this project as a high-end product? And what
Correct.
and what kind of requirements would council have upon the developer to deliver a high-end product?
So we have met with the council about 2-3 weeks ago, and city of Coburn, which is where the block is a very progressive.
And I want to explain, if you're a listener and you're trying to look at in the city of Coburn, it's spelled differently. It's COCKBURNE. Yeah,
Correct.
so that's spelled. Yeah. That's spoken as Colburn. Yeah,
Coburn. It's pronounced Coburn, but it's spelled Cockburn.
Yes.
All right. So the city is a very progressive council. We have met with the city, and it has been made clear to us that this is their first SDA project, and they said, look, surrounding this block are luxury apartments. So we want to make sure this upcoming development is going to be at least of the same quality as all the other apartments, and we embrace that. And so we are very happy that the city embraced this SDA development. They're very supportive, and they're very progressive, and being right opposite an aged care retirement village, it's actually very strategic and complementary as well.
Indeed, it is. Yes, because the actual age of the NDIS funding goes up to 65, and if you are fully funded in SDA or still funding or SDA funding before age 65, it continues on past 65 still.
Correct.
So they'll always, we always talk about in the SDA market, supply and demand and supply of participants. And if there's a turnover of participants for whatever reason, then there would always be a demand for accommodation for tenants. So being in an area where there is aged care facilities next door or in the area, that's what you mean by complementary, isn't it?
Yes, correct. So it's not far from the Fremantle Hospital, and about 20 minutes from the biggest hospital in Murdoch Hospital. So that's a huge hospital complex. There are a lot of SDAs at the moment in the area, but 80% of them are residing in residences that are 20, 30, 40 plus years in age.
Yes.
And over the next 2-3 years, they would more likely become non-compliant. So they would be looking for.
Yeah, we've spoken about that in the past podcasts, whereby the legacy homes and group homes from the past will be defunded and phased out, and at some point they'll all have to go somewhere else. So the somewhere else comment refers to new houses for SDA or apartments. And from what you explained to me yesterday, this is the only brand new SDA project for apartments in the area of Coburn.
In the suburb, yes, correct.
So you're not far from Fremantle. So how far is this site location from the city CBD of Perth?
Around 25 minutes. So it's not that close to the city, but it is a satellite suburb like Fremantle, North Coogee. They are all upmarket. The suburb is probably only 20 years old. So there's all new buildings, all new luxury apartments and boardwalks, Marina. So they're all built and designed. It's an all modern design. So it's a very beautiful suburb. I can take our investors, if they are wanting to visit in the future, certainly I can drop.
Wonderful. There. So body corporate costs, I think the numbers are pretty low, aren't they? They're not very high. They're $2,800 a year for the one bedders and $3,600 a year for the two bedders.
Correct. So a lot of these body corporate fees go to maintain public areas. So because of the compactness of the block, there is on a rooftop garden area with trees and all that. So aside from maintaining the gardens, they are basically used to to maintain the lift, to maintain insurance, cleaning. So it's very, very economical at the moment.
And there's a sinking fund of 10% of that strata levy there as well.
Yes.
When you say rooftop, is that the 5th level or the 4th level?
4th level.
Gotcha.
So next to the penthouse, there is a rooftop garden and an activity area.
So not only is there activity lobbies in each level of the floors, there's also one up the top there as well. That's good.
Correct.
So where are you at with regards to settlement of the land, lodgement of DA, construction start, construction finish, please?
So settlement of the land coming up next month. And DA we are working on DA at the moment. So we're looking to lodge within a month or so. And then, we have to go back to the council within a month. And then if that's fine, then we would lodge immediately.
And construction start?
Well, as soon as it's approved, working drawings, building license, it'll go straight to construction. So the developer is very keen to start and finish immediately. So we hope to start construction before Christmas. And that's the aim. And then finish by around November 2023.
Wonderful. Just I would say 12-month turnaround time.
Give or take.
Yeah. So a question often asked by investors is, does the developer require pre-sales to begin the construction of development? What's your response to this question?
In this case, as far as funding, the developer don't require all to be sold.
That's good.
But I think it's just for his peace of mind, being the first project that he's involved in, he would require some level of pre-sales. But the quality and exclusivity of the project, I'm very confident that we would be able to sell 100%
of course
very quickly.
Normally, any investor would be concerned about a developer requiring pre-sales to get the ball rolling.
Yep.
But as you've clearly stated, having a blue chip developer with this caliber here to launch into this sector, he will deliver no matter what the end results. Yeah,
yes,
that's all that
correct.
matters.
I'm confident with that because he's been involved in development that are 100, 200 million, even 500 million. So for something this size is his bread and butter. It's bread and butter to him. It's very easy. 15
units at these prices. That's only roughly about $10 million total project size anyway. It's really easy. SDA demand. Can you give us a little bit of feedback about your provider you've spoken to already currently? Are they excited or not? What's their feedback to you about participant demand in the area? What's the general gist of it all?
Last time we checked from their website, there's about 150 participants in the area. And as we can see, there's not many new buildings in there. So in the suburb, so a large majority are living in these older type housing. And the SIL that we have spoken to is very keen to get involved. It will be his flagship SDA, which is the most luxurious SDA that he has. And he's he's literally begging to put his name on it. so he can show off to all the other SILs that he is the best in WA.
No worries. Well, speaking of fun, go. Sorry.
Sorry, just to show that as well, he has come up with a proposal for the SIL fees that are very competitive. I think it's about 65% to 70% of what everybody else charges in WA and over East.
Yes.
So, less fees, more returns to our investors.
Well, I look forward to sending you our feasibility on these to get your feedback to confirm his fees and the overall cost to run an apartment and the net return there, just to give our investors peace of mind on what the estimated returns will be, gross and net of costs. Speaking of which, I want to bring back a topic which is called funding for participants, because a lot of investors do not understand funding to SDA when it comes to apartments, because You may have a 2-bedroom apartment for HPS. And in that HPS design, you can take on board 3 of the 4 categories. 3 of the 4 categories being HPS, fully accessible FA, and improved livability. Now, that's great. However, you got to understand as an investor that even in those 3 categories of HPS, FA, and IL, there's still 2 subcategories for funding for SDA. And that is, even though it's a 2-bedroom unit, you can bring on board a 2-bed, 1-resident HPS, or a 1-bed, 1-resident HPS, a 2-bed, 1-resident FA, a 1-bed, 1-resident FA, and also the 2-bed, 1-resident IL, and a 1-bed, 1-resident IL. So there are 6 types of participant tenants for a 2-bedroom HPS apartment. And the maximum rent, if you're lucky, is $135,000 a year for a 2-bed, 1-resident funding for HPS, and $110,000 a year for a 1-bed, 1-resident HPS funding. And FA is 2-bed, 1-resident funding is $102,000 a year for FA, and 1-bed, 1-resident is $86,000 a year for FA. So there are different numbers here, and we'll go through those yield and net returns possibilities from our office to our investors if they want to talk to us one-on-one about feasibilities. But that's got nothing to do with you, Michael. That's all separate to you.
Sure.
If we have customers who are keen to proceed, Michael, can you explain the process with regards to EOI deposit, contracts deposit, SDA certification fee? What's the process and the timeline that is going to be happening for this project in light of the DA lodgement and the amount of payment required from the developer?
For someone who is interested or investor who is interested, you fill in an EOI, put in a small deposit, and when the contracts are issued, the small EOI is probably $2,000. It's fully refundable if you're not happy with the contracts, and that's where we disclose all the information, including proposed fees, corporate fees, what the lodgement of the DA looks like, and you have 2 weeks to inspect that. So if you're not happy, you get your fee refunded. So there'll be lots of people doing this, and it's first come, first serve.
Now, the 10% deposit is due 2 or 3 weeks after the contracts are exchanged, aren't they?
It's actually due 30 days. 30 days, and we can accept part payment and then pay it a bit later. So that can be discussed with Minh.
So, when do you expect to have the contracts ready?
2 months.
So here we are in July, mid-July right now, right? Let's say I did an EOI today. Bang, $2,000 down, EOI submitted. I have to wait 2 months, 60 days, which is going to be mid-September, for the contracts to be issued to me as a buyer. I take it to my lawyer, we review it, I sign it, send it back, the developer signs it, and then we're going to wait another 30 days, which is mid-October, to pay the 10% deposit to the lawyer's trust account for the developer.
Correct.
And on top of that, there's also going to be a SDA certification fee as well. Is that right?
Yes.
How much is that, and when is it payable?
It's payable on exchange when you sign the contracts. Yes. So that's $5,000 plus GST, and that's fully refundable if we don't proceed for any reason with construction.
Yes.
So it's refundable immediately.
Cool. So again, refresh my memory. When is DA being lodged?
Being lodged in probably about a month to 6 weeks from now.
Yes.
It will depend on our second feedback with the council in about 2 weeks.
End of August. Okay.
End of August, yep. So, by October, hopefully we would have some sort of approval, like a DA approval, and then we'll lodge in for building license immediately.
So you think 2 months to get the DA approved, is that right?
2 to 3 months.
So November, October,
I think
November.
they have 60 days to respond.
Yep. Okay, cool. So is the contract signed in October and the deposit payable in September, November, October? So in the event that DA is not approved and construction doesn't begin, then all the monies paid will be refundable back to the investor.
Yes.
And in the event it is approved, it's all green light and it's all go, go, go. Is that right?
Correct.
Yes, okay.
So the deposit will be held by the settlement agent.
Mm-hmm.
So if it doesn't proceed, it's fully refunded. So in Australia, you're not allowed to touch this money until the settlement.
Yes. Wonderful. I think we've covered all the important topics of this project, Michael. Any final words of advice from you as the project manager to our potential 15 buyers about the project or getting into NDIS, SDA as apartments, or any advice you have for anyone who's thinking about doing one of these as a purchase?
As far as the developer is concerned, Luke Saraceni is one of the biggest developers in WA. Mm-hmm. As far as the project is concerned, the location, the quality, I personally have not seen an SDA with this quality in this location. And the suburb is very tightly held. And I think it's probably once every 10 to 15 years that one would come across this type of investment. Mm-hmm. So I'm very, very proud and happy to be involved in this project. Yes. And I'm sure that the developer will do a very, very good end product. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it's great to see that of the 15 units, there are only 4 HPSs and 11 fully accessible apartments. Correct. So, which doesn't tarnish the project by way of, there's too many HPSs in the area. Well, no, it's not HPSs. Yeah. It's mostly FAs. I think that's a great thing there. I think that having a blue chip developer on board is great. Someone who's well funded and experienced in the residential development game, and having providers like who you're talking to fully endorsing it and wanting to be part of it to deliver the service for participants who are in need of this in the Perth market. I think you guys are doing a great job, and we look forward to. Oh yeah, I have one more question to ask you, Michael, before we hang up. The question that everyone's asking is price increases, construction chain, supply chains, fixed price contracts. If a client signs his contract, goes unconditional, pays the deposit, is there a chance that halfway through they come back with hey, oh my God, the supply chain problems are so dire that we need our investors to pay an extra 50 grand more? Is that going to happen when the word fixed price doesn't really have that much meaning anymore in today's market?
As far as I know, in WA, with our fixed price contracts, it is a fixed price contract. So even if it goes up by 30, 40, 50,000, then the developer is bound to deliver the product to you at that price.
That's good. That's really, really good. Michael, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. And we look forward to helping you promote this to the investor market around Australia who are keen on North Coogee Marina residence in Perth by Saraceni. Thank you so much, mate.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please make sure you are subscribed and following us so you can keep in the loop with all of our upcoming episodes. We would really appreciate it if you could leave us a 5-star rating, a written review, and to share this podcast with those that could benefit. Until next time, catch you on the next episode.